Well, now is a very good time to test paper, suitable paper size and scaling. What I've done here is to create a new layout called base plan. I've called it A4 just to indicate, I'll unselect all just to indicate that it is indeed an A4 piece of paper in portrait view. And if I select the floating viewport, the boundary of it, and come over here into the characteristics of that viewport, you can see I've changed the view scale to 100. I've set it as a fixed scale. If I click there, it becomes a scale that I can vary. So if I type 50 in there, that'd be 1 to 50 on an A4 sheet, and you can see our view is magnified. If I wanted to lock that in, I would do that. So there's, and then unselect all. And there is a 1 to 50 view of part of the design. We've not worried about layers and setting up layers yet. There's a lot of overlap, so we're just trying to get an appropriate size sheet. So that clearly doesn't show the whole site. So if we wanted to show the base plan, then an A3 sheet, let me zoom extents, is a sensible one. The whole site shows quite clearly on an A3 piece of paper. The inclusion of the scale bar here means that I could print that page and fit it to an A4 sheet, and the scale in here would give me a way of sampling distances, measuring distances on it. So you're not restricted to having chosen an A3 sheet, you're not restricted to that particular paper size for the final print. But we can legitimately label this one. We can put the legend in a moment, and we can label that 1 to 100. Well, I've now brought the title sheet in, and so I've inserted it into paper space. So it's a block called title block, so I can use copies of it on the various sheets that I want to work with. You might argue that the title block there is a little too small, and it would be an easy matter to simply select it and then scale it. We could use the scale here, and if I look at that, we might want to scale that by 1.25 and then pick it and move it and position it. When we're ready to do a final presentation, we'd pick the edge of that sheet and set its color to select color to 255 and then unselect all. And there we have our design sitting nicely on an A3 sheet of paper with a scale of 1 to 100. So I hope that gives you a reasonable idea of how to put things together in this drawing that we picked up from another designer. We're still some distance to go, but we're in a position now to put our own stamp and our own flair and create a whole series of layout sheets across the bottom.